I'm trying to say or to tell you a personal story as well as a story of machine learning in the newsroom, because I think it's an evolution throughout your careers and how you learn what can be done to help the business to thrive. So I'm going to start with a very classic start. So this is a picture of my parents, and they were very helpful, especially at the beginning of my career, because they very quickly realized that I am not very good in many things. So I'm not very good in things like literature, in human sciences. I wasn't that great at school, but I was really good at maths throughout the whole kind of education process. So they said, okay, great, you're gonna be an engineer. And so I became an engineer. Summer towards the end of my studies, something that started to become really fascinating to me was that specific type of maths that is inspired by how the brain works. It was just mind-blowing to me how you can use that complicated piece of your body and base mathematical models on it. So I started to research things that were called neural networks. So it's again a type of statistical models that can be applied in many different areas. So for example, a lot of the stuff that you can now see in image recognition, so you have a picture and then Facebook tells you who is in the picture. A lot of that technologies are based on those types of models. But that was about 12 years ago. So when I graduated, what you do, you have your degree, it's brilliant, and you need to then find a job. And there was no jobs. And of course, looking back at that, I was like, wow, comparing to what's happening now when everything is about technology and everything is about artificial intelligence, it was a very different market at that time. So what I did is I went to Ireland, as you know, and I joined a telecommunication company. The way telecommunications used to work, it probably works like that, still like that, but I think we don't really think about physical architecture, physical infrastructure anymore. So in the past, when you were using physical phones to call your friends from other cities, your call went from your house to a kind of a place or to a building nearby where there was like more cables integrated and big cables connected to another house, and then it was kind of a spread in form of the network. So all those red dots, you can see those are those houses that integrate different lines. And funnily enough, what you would think now is quite bizarre, but at the time there was no data connection between all those red dots, which meant that if you called from Galway to Dublin, only in Galway they were able to count how many minutes you spent on the phone. Imagine the nightmare for the billing system when somewhere in central Dublin they had to send you a bill that you spent that much minutes on the phone and they need to charge you for that amount. And then came me, so I was basically driving all the way to Galway, taking physical drives and then bringing them to Dublin, so that we can actually bill people with how many minutes they spent on the phone. That obviously wasn't a great idea, and about 2 weeks into the job, I said this is just stupid. And with my kind of a rebellious nature, I said that just can't be done in this way. It's not sustainable. It's very manual and very expensive and also boring. So this is when the kind of innovation comes through. So with my technology and very data-oriented background, I said, well, there's lots of opportunity to automate. There are systems that record those minutes. There are ways to transfer the data between locations, and it's just easier. So I worked on how can we automate the whole system. And I think this is also when I realized that actually it's not about that kind of a maths that is based on brain and all those sexy algorithms and everything that is so exciting and all about maths. It's about data. So it's about the physical points that we can take and we can do something with it. It's a bloodstream of any intelligent systems that we talk about here. And so I joined a gaming company. I don't know, you probably don't remember, but it's Zynga that produce games like, you might remember, like all those publications on or messages on Facebook saying, hey, buy more virtual cows. So this company, they were really into recording a lot of data about the user. So when you were playing the game and you were setting your farm and buying more cows to grow your farm and buying more pigs to grow your farm, we were recording every information that you did. And based on this, we realized, well, actually, we have all that stuff about you. We know so much. We know so much about the game. We can make the game better by knowing this. So we started to recommend a lot of new things to the game developers based on what we think from behavior. And that's hard. So I love to put that picture somewhere in the middle of my career. And this is me at the end of running 100K, so 100-kilometer ultra marathon. The reason why I think it's important to do this kind of stuff is because you gain a lot of confidence, and it's all about persistence, and it's all about determination. What you're gonna find if you choose to go into any of the technology and innovation-related fields, you're gonna very quickly realize that it's hard, because it's very likely that you're gonna be the first person who's done it around you, and it's really hard to make people and convince people to follow you and to do it and to show them that it works. So you need a lot of determination. So I'm not saying that 100K is the best choice for everybody. Like, I was injured for about a year and a half after this, but it's just about that confidence and persistence in what you do in your work life. I learned a lot from that. Then here we are in the newsroom, in media, in an organization that is producing content and is publishing the content and is hoping for people to read and engage with what we with the great journalists that we produce. And again, here it's about data. What data do we have to support our product? So how our website is going to look like, but also how do we support our journalists' content? So data is not a new thing as well. So like in the newsroom or in media, there was always data. It's just that it's bigger now. So in the past, you would have somewhere in the kind of a Shakespearean times, when people sing a play, they were clapping, shouting, talking to other people. This is also data. It's just very small and anecdotal. Then when Telly started to be a mainstream, accessible media, we surveyed a lot of people. So we were physically asking people, did you watch this? Did you watch this? And we still do it. And again, it's a little bit bigger than clapping, but it's still quite small. Now, because everything is on the website, we record every click that you do on the website. So we know that this article has been viewed by that many people, or by that many people. So this is just now, there is much more completeness, there is just much more data, which is great, because again, coming back to that, data being a bloodstream of any intelligent system, that's really good, because we have just more of the material to play with. And that's what we do. So part of my job is, my team's job is to make sure that our product being our website or our app, supports our content. So it helps you as a reader discover more interesting things. And recommendation engines are one of the ways to do it. I'm sure you are on YouTube and Netflix, and you can see all the recommended for you, and you can see all the other things you might like. This is, in most of the cases, it's algorithmically driven. So there is some kind of automatic intelligence behind it to show to the user. But those pictures show those are two of our colleagues. There's Jeremy and Magda. They're two different people interested in different things, and they have on the phone an article about Stephen Hawking's death, and the recommendations. You can see there's like within an article there's like a really not fancy gray box with 4 links to other articles. And this is what we built. This is the algorithm that we built behind it to generate those 4 links that these people might be interested in. They're different depending on who you are. Now, there is a problem with that though. So, if you look at those 2 pictures of the 2 different types of food, which one would you choose? How many of you would choose to eat an ice cream rather than broccoli? What's that? It's about probably 70-80% of us. Why? Because it's sweet and it's good. I'm not sitting here at 4 p.m. and saying, oh, I fancy broccoli. But there would be people who do, but most of the people wouldn't. And that's typical for a human behavior, that it's easier for us to do something that is just nicer and sweeter for us, and we tend to do more of it or want to do more of it. So imagine how does it translate to the articles that you read. So let's say you are into Love Island and you come to BBC website and read one article about Love Island. Because you enjoy this is something you're interested in, you read more and more and more of this. I'm pretty sure that most of us have been in a situation when you sit on your phone on YouTube and just like, oh my god, I'm just like through the fifth video about the same thing. Which is not, ultimately it's not a bad thing. But the challenge with this is that the machines that are then using the data about our behavior learn from our behavior. So if we keep doing the same thing, the machine is gonna think that that's all you want. So imagine you read all those articles about Love Island, and you come back to the BBC next day, and BBC is saying, hey, here is more Love Island. And you're like, okay, BBC, I'm done with Love Island. I'm really done with it. I want something else. And this is the challenge for our machines, for our algorithms, to prevent that from happening. So maybe the next day you come back, we want to suggest you some interesting content about plastic or about some other show that you're likely to be into. So it's about diversity. It's about making sure that we give you enough choice so that you engage with different types of foods, you might say. So it's a diet that we're trying to design. And that when you hear about all those kind of dangers and pitfalls of algorithmically driven recommendations, people often mention echo chambers or filter bubbles. Those effects are an outcome of that kind of a simple fact that machines learn from our behavior, which is not always kind of doing the best thing for us. So that's why one of the things that we're working on with the team is something that we call salad function. So this is kind of trying to understand and trying to make a part of that program that's generating algorithms, that's generating recommendations, a kind of hey, have some broccoli. You've got enough ice cream. You're actually going to feel sick about this after this. Have some broccoli. And how can we do it mathematically and programmatically? That's the kind of a challenge that we're trying to solve. And luckily, luckily we're all superheroes, so it's really easy. But luckily, there are ways, again in machine learning, there are ways to translate, for example, text into numbers or text into some forms that are easy to interpret by computers, and then design certain measures to measure, for example, diversity and understand whether the number of articles or any other content types that you consume is diverse enough. And that's what we do, and I think it's fascinating. And one of the things I think I would like everybody to take away from here is that it's not always about sitting down and writing code. It's not always about maths and formulas. A lot of this is thinking about humans, and a lot of this is about thinking about behaviors and how can we design those machines so that things like BBC News have a wide reach and reach the right audiences as well. Thank you. I think that's